Hello everyone, welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas, sweating and glistening.
Yep.
And with me, as always, is Austin, who is, I'm going to say, swampy.
And also caffeinated.
And Johnny, who is, like, probably less of all of those things. Yeah, if you're listening to this years after we recorded it and don't quite know what's going on, it's the summer, and I record, without the air conditioner on or fan because it'll pick it up and it'll make the audio bad, and then I'll have to do noise removal on a higher scale than I should, and then I sound like this. It's not good. So I suffer for you, our audience. I mean, it's probably good for me. It might help lose weight. Maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it does help you lose weight, Leon, that's just like water. You're losing water. You don't. Yeah. That's all. I mean, the very idea that it's like you can hang out in a sweat box and it burns calories. It fucking doesn't. It just burns. That's it.
It sounds horrible. I would hate to do that. Even if I had to cut weight for a fight. I wouldn't do it. I would refuse categorically to do that. I would say, this isn't for me. I'm going to go back to sitting on my bed. That is my level of comfort.
You heard it here, folks. Leon is cutting short his promising boxing career.
Yeah, it's over. I'm done. Oh,
I like steam rooms.
That's fine. I mean, if you want to do it, I'm not saying you can't.
I mean, I don't do it to lose weight. I do it to get warm and soothe used muscles.
And meet naked people?
No, actually, no, not.
Are they not naked?
Not.
I don't know. I've never been in one.
Not usually. Well, I mean, there's a steam room in my apartment complex.
Oh.
But people are not naked. There's not a There's not an unspoken agreement, I guess, that you're clothed, but I could see it being a problem with Strata if somebody was just like, check me out.
You probably have to be zoned for that kind of thing.
Probably. Yeah. I imagine that's what it is. It's a zoning issue.
It is.
At the beginning of this recording, you called me Swampy, and I wanted to interject because that is
I didn't mean that in a bad way.
No.
I mean, everyone loves Swamp Thing.
No, Swampy is the name of the mascot of the ECHL team, the Florida Everblades. And
what is an ECHL?
East Coast Hockey League.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
Does hockey count as sports ball if there's no ball? I mean, isn't a puck
sports puck
just a squished ball?
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard ball. It's the unfriendliest ball.
No, wouldn't a hard ball be the unfriendliest ball?
Yeah, isn't a hard ball just baseball?
Because it is also a ball, specifically.
Okay, I've lost the plot a little bit on this one. So, I've been thinking this week, guys, that I should probably retire from talking about politics on podcasts. Not because it's not important.
If you want.
Not because it's not important or that I don't have things to say. But it's occurred to me that I'm, at this point, just saying things less eloquently than someone else out there who is saying the same exact things, except for much better.
Yes, but Austin, I mean, if that were the criteria to stop talking about anything whatsoever, this podcast probably never would have started.
I mean, that's true.
Also, this isn't a competition, for one thing. And for another thing, that argument, I mean, you can stop if you want. I'm not going to pressure you to talk about politics or anything specific. Mm-hmm. But, that argument, taken to its extreme, means that nobody can talk about a topic except the best guy to talk about it.
No, only the people who are the best at any given thing. So there should be 100,000 people left. Everyone else is completely obsolete. No, this was leading somewhere before it went into a serious direction. And the payoff to that build-up was going to be, have you guys seen Chelsea Manning's Twitter? Because it's fire.
It's pretty fantastic, yes.
She's very good, and I only just realized this recently. I'm sure it's been great for a while, but people were questioning her use of emoticons and emojis and stuff, and being like, "This is unbecoming of a radical leftist." And
what?
And I look.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Her politics are awesome, first of all. So that's a good barometer just for me as a person. If you look at her feed and you're like, I don't know about this person, like, just miss me with your entire bodily human experience, because this shit is awesome. And it's just pure joy and socialism.
Don't you know, though, Austin, that you're not allowed to have fun on Twitter if you're a leftist?
Yeah, it's just all about eating the rich and taking money from people who earned it, I guess.
And telling people the hard truth.
Anyway, so I was basically just kind of doing a punchline about a cool person, and then it went. You guys were all like, "Well, don't be hasty, Austin."
I was worried for a second there. I was like, "Oh no, that means that I'm gonna have to stop talking about everything."
Oh, yeah, we'd be down to like 3 topics on this show. Speaking of topics, I have them. Do you guys want them? Do you have your own?
I mean, I have things, but I will hear you.
I bought a bunch of vegetables. That's all I got.
Cool. What kind?
Well, Leon, today's menu consists of some fennel root. We got a little bit of kale, green kale. We picked up some baby bok choy. Some red peppers, a couple of lemons, which aren't vegetables. I get that. I understand that. But they're going to go really nicely on the green kale. So, some other things as well, but those are the heavy hitters. Those are, if I had to pick my 2017 Olympic Dream Team for vegetables with maybe a fruit attaché, that would be a start.
Okay.
That's seriously, I have nothing. That's like absolutely nothing. I've been listening to depressing music all week and writing even more depressing poetry, and the only reason why it's even more depressing is because it's depressing, but it's just not quite as good as the depressing stuff that I've been listening to, which is, get this, depressing.
Okay, well, I'm a firm believer in sort of turning into the skid with that kind of thing.
I'm embracing it. I'm just, this is my life now, so...
Yeah, you just just burn it out. When you feel bad, like if I feel bad, I will listen to a sad song, and I mean, obviously, like, there's more there than a sad song will cure, but sometimes you just gotta burn that shit out.
Yes, last night I described it to myself as, quote, some unspeakable machine assembling frustration and pain, burning it into the world.
You just got to smoke that whole sadness carton. And
that's just heat it up in the coals of the fire and burn it on the skin till your face melts. Austin, what topics do you have for us?
Anything about melting?
I was going to say, speaking of sad music, the new Arcade Fire singles have been coming out, and they're all disco, which is a swerve.
Well, not a swerve, no, because, like...
Reflector dabbled, but...
Reflector was so disco!
The first half, it's a double out. The second half was like a retelling of a Greek myth or something.
In a disco!
Okay.
Which is absolutely okay, because I sort of feel like if you're going to marry two things, it may as well be, like, Greek mythology and disco, because they're both very sweaty and very, like, semi-naked.
It's true. It's just, like... I didn't predict this arc from, like, Funeral and Neon Bible and stuff, because, like, that was kind of moody indie music, and their new stuff is not that, which is fine. They're both good bands. There's just a different band now, and that's...
The orchestral, they're still maintaining a kind of, their orchestral kind of sound, like that sort of dense, thick cloud that sort of lingers around the edges of their music, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, but, yeah, it's very... It's very raw.
It's good. It's a lot. Speaking of good and a lot, the thing I actually brought this week to talk about, well, one of the things, is that there is a Castlevania Netflix series.
Oh, I watched that. There's not a lot of it.
Yeah, so backstory, Warren Ellis, the comic book writer, I don't know enough about comic books to really speak to him. All I know is I think he wrote the first Dead Space. That's my familiarity with his work.
He's also, I believe he did work on a little comic you might have heard of called Preacher.
I have heard of it, and I know about Arseface.
Yeah. And actually, also, one of my favorite comic/graphic novel series of all times, Transmetropolitan. Which...
I keep hearing it. That's like The Matrix, but better.
Oh, man, and it is more relevant than fucking ever right now to America, because there's a heavy... It's basically like, I want to say, The Matrix meets Hunter S. Thompson meets, like Reggie Watts or something like that. Like, it's weird, surrealist, kind of journalist-based political humor set in this super weird future society. Like, it's balls crazy, but it's so good.
Warren Ellis has a distinct voice. He has a lot of his personality comes through clearly in his stuff. Like, people like him a lot, and he's been trying to get this Castlevania thing off the ground for like nearly 10 years. The original plan was for 3 films, being like the first, second, and third arc of Castlevania 3, I believe. The one with Alucard and what the fuck's the other guy's name? There's like a boring human, and then there's a lady who does magic. But for whatever reason, it's probably a very interesting story, but I don't know off the top of my head, it was decided to make it into a TV show on Netflix. And the first season is...
Which probably means, let's be honest, Netflix probably went to him and said, hey, we'll do this.
The script has been written for years. Like, you have it, let's just hire someone to get this thing on paper. But the season, which is 4 episodes, is what the first movie would have been. And so it ends like right as the premise is established, basically. It's kind of an adaptation of the opening text crawl of a Castlevania game. Like, the Dracula's castle has surfaced and demons scour the land. Only Belmont can stand up to the horde. And then you actually get control, and then that's when the season ends. So it's not substantial, but I actually dug the hell out of it. It feels like the kind of anime they made a lot in like the 80s and early 90s, which obviously I was too young to have watched at the time, but going back, something like people talk about that ultra violent era where everything's just people getting their fucking heads punched off and there's just entrails everywhere and it's all like demons and just like, oh, you can't do that in a cartoon. It's just super metal, and like the animation's a little low budge. They didn't really spring for the soundtrack from the games. Like, there's definitely criticisms to be made of it, but I actually had a ton of fun with it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. I was trying to watch House of Cards on the weekend, but I was lying down on the couch because I wasn't feeling well last week. I think I discussed this with you guys. I wasn't feeling too well, and that feeling remained over the course of the weekend. So I was lying on the couch trying to watch House of Cards, but just couldn't muster it. So I was like, I need something else. Oh, Castlevania. So then I like watched that in one sitting, and I totally dug it as well. I was down when it ended. I was like, what?
Yeah.
No.
It ends right after like the first good substantial fight scene, and when all the stakes are kind of set up, and it's like, nice, now we're gonna get into the adventure, and then it's just
then it stops.
Yeah. So leave him wanting more, but I mean, I liked it a lot, and I think if this is, he's had so long to think about it, like workshop this script, right? So I think it's gonna be good. I like this series. I don't think the Castlevania license is doing anything these days. This is probably the best use of it.
Hey, slot machines.
Yeah, got to get that pachinko money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we could talk about Castlevania more or Konami or whatever, but the bottom line is, I enjoyed it, and I'm excited for season 2. It has been renewed. I think it's going to be 8 episodes this time. So I don't know if it's just more of the second planned movie, or if they've, extended that plan.
I gotta say, a lot of people really like Netflix because you can just like power through a series. And then be like, you don't have to wait till the next week to get to the next episode. I really like it because it's like, by the time I get to something, I already know whether or not it's going to be renewed.
Yeah.
Like I pick something up and then there's like a Google alert that's like, oh, hey, that thing that you just started watching that like you're maybe not going to get 16 episodes into and get super invested only to discover that it ends prematurely. Yeah, it'll be back next year. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. I hope I like this.
Yeah, you never want to get into a show that's like 36 episodes and then find out that it ends on a cliffhanger and it hasn't been renewed.
Fucking Carnival.
Wow.
We all have
such a good show, but I want to punch somebody when I think of it.
Oh, this is actually a pretty interesting segue into the other show I've been watching on Netflix. It's called a Netflix original on the service, but it's an anime that Netflix has licensed for North American distribution. And there's backstory to this one too. So Studio Trigger is made up of a bunch of ex Studio Gainax employees who
That
made.
sounds like, I'm sorry, that sounds exactly like something someone from Gainax would be like, let's name our new studio Studio Trigger.
It's pretty apt for the kind of things they make. But I assume most of our audience knows that Studio Gainax made Neon Genesis Evangelion and Gurren Lagann, two of the most important anime of all time, one of which was good. And then some of them went on to found Studio Trigger, and they made Kill la Kill, which was a huge smash sensation. And then they made an OVA movie, a kind of self-contained thing called Little Witch Academia. And it was so super popular that they made a second one. And that was so super popular, they made it into a TV show. And now Netflix has licensed it. But they've only licensed the first half of the first season, which is kind of controversial because in Japan they have the whole thing. And if you know where to look on the internet, you can see the whole first season. But only the first half is on Netflix, which is a weird choice. But this series, I kind of glanced over what it even is. It's like gender swap Harry Potter, which sounds dismissive, but it's like beat for beat. It's like there's a world where magic exists, but also people without magic. And then someone who isn't naturally magically gifted goes to wizard school, and there's a sorcerer's stone, and they play a sports game on brooms. It's just literally Harry Potter, but they're all girls. And I was a little hesitant to watch it at first because, and I don't think this is unfair to say, Japanese animation has a spotty track record with shows about young women.
You don't say.
I'm here to say it's precisely zero creepy. There's nothing creepy about this show, which is, it's sad that I have to say that, but it's a totally wholesome, nice, cute show about friendship and magic. It's just really nice. It's not like Kill la Kill, which is it's very good, but also very creepy. This is none of that. It's just like, what if Harry Potter was all girls? And it's nice.
So basically what you're trying to tell me is that if we want the second half to come to Netflix, we should probably watch it?
I think they're gonna get it eventually. They have paid for the rest of it. It's just for some reason they are holding back on hosting it right now. And like I said, I follow people from Crunchyroll, the like premier anime streaming site, on social media and stuff, and we're all like, I don't want to be like unkind. They were like mad about it because they lost to Netflix on the rights to license it, so it's not available on Crunchyroll. But the people who like work there still want to watch it, but it's only legally available through Netflix, and obviously they have a zero tolerance policy for pirating. But the episodes are out there. It's like a whole thing. It's like a controversy is kind of a weird word to use for the show because it's a kids show about magic school.
It's a conflict of interests.
It's just a weird, because I mean we're in the days of, we were just talking about it, like binge watching and stuff. Everyone wants all of it now. Why hold back? Presumably somebody in the accounting department said it would be better to do it this way. I don't know.
I won't pretend to know the ins and outs of Netflix licensing half of seasons of anime. That's a little outside my... There, here we go. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm obviously not the best person to.
Yeah, it's delightful though. Oh man, I have another one too. Sorry, this is the whole episode. I watched a different delightful cartoon, which was season 2 of Voltron.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Leon,
I've seen that.
Something I can talk about.
Yeah, that's also a delightful show about friendship, and I don't think it has any creepiness. I'm trying to like run back through my mind if there was any creepiness.
No, it's very good.
Very wholesome. Friendship and robots. Well, Leon, why don't you take the mic for a bit? Have you seen season 2?
I have seen all the episodes, and I love them all equally, as if they were my own children. I like super love the show. Pidge is my favorite. I love Pidge so much. But yeah, it's like, it's all good. It's all just like they can't form Voltron unless they're friends, basically. Mm-hmm. And I think that's beautiful. Like they have robots, and they're like, oh, why can't we form Voltron? It's because we're not close enough friends. So it's like, let's bond. And that is the first season. And the second season is, I guess the stakes are upped because now like the threat is like sort of like gaining on them, and they're like, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but the big bad turns out to have like a secret past with the Voltron mythos. And it's just I find it really exciting. I think the animation is real good. It's not like it's hard to explain. It's
Studio Mir, the people who did Avatar and Korra, or I think maybe just Korra, but
it's good. It's a really fun show. It is genuinely funny. Also, like when they're not, it's there's all these moments of it's hard to explain. It's not a comedy. It's an action comedy drama. I don't want to say romance, but I want there to be. I want there to be. Definitely blue and red.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about this, but let's talk about it now. So,
we're obviously going to talk.
During the production of season 2 of Voltron, some photos leaked from a tour someone took of Studio Mir, which I just looked it up. They did the Boondocks as well as Legend of Korra. They did not work on Avatar.
Okay. I actually don't know what you're talking about. I thought we were just going to talk about shipping, but okay.
We are. So photos leaked out of certain shipping sensitive material. And Studio Mir reached out and said, "Hey, take that down. You're violating our contract with DreamWorks. We are actually I don't know if this tweet still exists, but it said like we're in legal trouble. Please take this down." And the Voltron fandom, so details are a little sketchy. So I apologize if I get some of these details wrong. Here's my understanding: someone with access to these pictures decided to blackmail the producers of Voltron to make their ship canon.
I don't know anything about this because I don't really go into the dark side of fandom very much. I mostly just talk about stuff like here, and I follow nice people on Tumblr, so I don't know about like too many shitty people. That is weird. Yeah, that is very weird.
I was looking into this because my first thing was they introduced a character at the end of second season. They say the name, like we're supposed to know who that is, so I was looking it up. It's like a reference to the old show, and they're bringing this character back. And I was looking up the differences between the new and the old ones, like certain characters should be dead by now, and they're not, and it's like all that. That's just cool trivia. And I stumbled upon this like controversy. They didn't give in to the blackmail. Can't and wouldn't. It's just not a thing. And there's a bunch of like finger pointing about like who actually was issuing it and if they were serious, and that's why like I don't want to say anything definitive about this, but like it was a thing that blew up in the fandom and was like pretty serious. And it's a shame because this show is so delightful and like inclusive, and like you said, it's like the first season is like we have to be better friends together, and the second season is we have to be better friends with our lions. It's just like all very nice and sweet. And it's just like, this is cliche to say, but this is why we can't have nice things. Just gonna be jerks about it.
Yeah. I did not know about that. I love the show in a pure and wholesome way, and I don't let I guess I didn't find that news. Nobody sent me that hot link. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, the ship I believe that the blackmailer wanted was red blue. But it is series tradition for Red to end up with the princess, and they've been teasing that, so I think it's probably the way it's going to break out. But I'm just along for the ride. I'm not picking any particular teams here.
Oh, if that does happen, I feel bad for Blue. He obviously loves the princess.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing they're setting up. That's the Twilight of Voltron.
It's not. I don't like that. Red and Blue should just be together and then remove the princess from the equation, and therefore everyone would be happy, and the princess would be fine. I'm sure she has other things to do with her time.
See, I thought you were gonna suggest polyamory because that is.
Well, I mean, you can. Sure. I mean, I don't want to say don't do that. I'm just
It's an elegant solution. You have to admit.
Okay. Fair enough.
So yeah, Voltron is wholesome and great, and it's actually on a pretty similar wavelength to Little Witch Academia. I feel like just like emotionally and vibe wise, I think you would like it, Leon. It's just like a nice cartoon about cool friends.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's Cartoon Watch. for this week. I'm going to take a talking break. Someone else do some stuff.
Okay. Here's like a sequel to what we were talking about last week. Quentin Tarantino's new movie has been announced. And it is a horror movie, I guess, about the Manson murders. And if someone says like, oh, someone is making a movie about the Manson murders, my first reaction would be, yeah, enough time has passed for us to explore this in film, I think. More than enough time, really. But when it said like Quentin Tarantino is doing this, I'm like, I am a fan of him, but I'm not sure he is the right person to deal with this particularly sensitive real world topic.
You don't think it'll be respectful to the victims and their families?
He might, or he might pull like an Inglourious Bastards, where it's an alternate timeline in which everyone just kills Charles Manson at the end, and he doesn't get to live to a ripe old age in prison doing interviews and, swastika stuff. So, maybe that's how it would go. Maybe it'd be more like petulant revenge on Charles Manson. The way that we just got to kill Hitler in a different way in his other movie, or in the way that like the slave owner got like an incredible comeuppance in Django Unchained that probably didn't happen that big. I guess.
I mean, that's what they say, right? You should make the villain of your piece a Nazi or a racist. That way you can just kill them with impunity. I don't think anyone's ever explored the Manson side of that equation.
Yeah, I mean, he literally has the Nazi symbol in his head, and I mean, I believe he wanted to start a race war, so he's kind of all that. I don't know everything about Charles Manson. I'm betting after seeing Quentin Tarantino's movie, I will know less.
Okay. Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, I poke fun, but I'm gonna see it. I'm definitely gonna see it.
I should hope that it's at least, because here's the thing, okay, is that while Hollywood hasn't like necessarily been like, this is a true and factual retelling of this particular serial killer. They have mined serial killers for years. Like John Wayne Gacy himself is just like the subject for so many movies, and like there was David Fincher's Zodiac movie as well, and things like that. There's this weird macabre kind of like elevated fetish about like the venerance of serial killers in American cinema, and I think it might be interesting to see Quentin Tarantino do his thing. I mean, that having been said, yeah, there's a certain amount of respect and venerance that we have to pay to the families and victims and things like that, because this is not that far out as like generational tragedy goes, so could be good. Could
maybe this is the moment where Quentin Tarantino makes like a very serious, like almost like painfully serious movie that like defies all expectations of what he normally does,
like a non-Tarantino movie.
Yeah, like a prestige movie,
right,
that they release at the end of November in hopes of getting Academy Award nominations.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of movie. But probably not. There's no evidence or track record to suggest that. I'm just pulling stuff out of my butt. I will see it almost no matter what, unless I hear it's by far his worst or something, and I could just skip it. Or if it's
So wait, you're telling me that you'll go to the theater to see Suicide Squad, but if somebody's like, yeah, this is Tarantino's worst, you're like, oh well then, I guess I don't have to bother.
Suicide Squad is too big for me not to see it because of the line of work that I'm in. Tarantino's last movie, The Hateful Eight, that we discussed last week, it didn't even get that big of a release or make that big of a money. It wasn't really this huge.
I seem to recall it being squished by Star Wars.
I had to go out of my way.
Insofar as that he had trouble getting it into theaters because theaters were like, all 5 screens are showing Star Wars tonight, baby.
Yeah. So, like, I have to see the new DCEU movie because that's part of the world that I live in. But, you know, I mean, The Hateful Eight was an exception. Typically, Quentin Tarantino's movies, you know, are, you know, get huge, wide releases and a lot of hype behind them. So yeah, in all likelihood, I will be seeing it. But, you know, occasionally movies are just crap, and I think I will watch this when it comes out on Blu-ray and rent it for cheap on Amazon Prime or something. Mm-hmm. And that will be it. Yeah.
I've been researching Charles Manson during this conversation because, like, while I'm vaguely familiar with it, just from, like, pop culture osmosis, I've never, like, done a deep dive in there. And it's strange to me that our cultural image of the Beatles hasn't been more tarnished by this whole thing. Because, like, I know, obviously, he wrote Helter Skelter on the Wall in Blood, which is, like, a connection. But, like, looking into it now, like, he had, like, a whole manifesto interpreting all the lyrics to, like, all their songs. Like,
yeah, but you're not going to lay that on the Beatles, are you?
No, of course not. But we think of certain art as being, like, tainted by events, don't we? Like, we think, like, oh, you know, Taxi Driver got the president shot once. Like,
well, that may be true, but, you know, like, it's also, and try this, not true.
No?
Because people will find excuses fucking, like, anywhere they see them.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's the Beatles' fault. I'm just saying when you think of the Beatles, you don't think of this terrible event. It's just like,
no,
it's so...
I think of Paul dying prematurely and them replacing him with a lizard person doppelganger.
Okay. I'm sorry for even bringing it up.
No, that's. I mean, you are right.
Yeah,
sometimes
I'm
you
just
do
being
think
a weirdo.
about.
We can talk about this. Like,
yeah,
I'm not dismissing this, Austin.
It's
right.
It's just like, okay, so what's his deal, right? Like, obviously he's been saying a bunch of bananas stuff forever, as long as people will put mics in front of his face. He has a swastika on his head. You'd think he had, like, some kind of really grand vision, like some Unabomber shit, but it seems like he's just, like, a blogger about Beatles lyrics.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, I'm sorry, but, like, if Charles Manson were, like, in a different generation, he would just be, like, a shitty guy on Twitter with, like, frogs in his Twitter profile.
Yeah, he would definitely have a YouTube channel. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he would, you know, he might have not even have orchestrated any killings. He might have just got all of his anger out on feminists.
He'd be making that mad Anita Sarkeesian money if Charles Manson were youth today. Here's the thing about all of this is that, like, I'm still on this page reading stuff. It's like, yeah, he believed in this, like, race war and, like, he has the swastika, but, like, how much of that, it seems like a lot of this is just for shock value, right? Like, it seems like his cult thing started because he was just, like, a lonely, shitty white guy and he just, like, wanted to control a bunch of people. And then I think some point he just, like, decided to, like, just lean in and just become the dude, right? Like, I don't know if that was, like, his grand vision.
He bought into his own. He drank his own Kool-Aid, so to speak.
Yeah, there's, like, people who do terrible things, like terrorist and serial killing shit for, like, grand garbage visions, like that are absolutely objectively wrong and repugnant, but, like, they have them genuinely in their hearts, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know that Charles Manson has one. I think he just likes attention. Is what I'm getting from scanning this Wikipedia page.
So he's definitely a right-wing YouTuber.
Okay, got him. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so the only other thing I came prepared to talk about this week was a law thing.
Okay. Well, we didn't do that last week, so, you know, if you want to hit us with it.
Yeah.
This week, that's cool.
I will. So you might want to just Google real quick the name Richard Prince, because that's who. Okay, because that's who I want to talk about.
Now, are you talking about Prince, or are you talking about the symbol that's like
Nope.
that was supposed to be the artist formerly known as, but then just became synonymous with Prince?
Richard Prince.
Yeah, I'm just. How do you spell Prince?
Yeah, Prince.
Oh, okay, so you do use letters then. All right.
Oh my god.
So I got the joke, but also I didn't want people not being able to Google
You
it.
didn't want to.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this guy is a kind of notorious. He calls himself an appropriation artist. His thing. He's an artist. He's this big. He's a multimillionaire. He owns like New York real estate. He's like more powerful than everyone listening to this will ever be combined. His thing is he takes other people's art and says, I made this. This is mine now. And he's wildly successful at it. Rather recently, he did a thing where he went on Instagram and just screenshotted other people's photos and then put them in an exhibit with his name. This is mine. This is my work.
Oh,
This person's Instagram
yeah.
shot.
So he's one of those guys who takes someone's art and then removes the watermark.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. The case we studied in class was one where he found this book of photographs of people in the Rastafarian religion, and he just repackaged a bunch of pictures. Some of them he changed, like he would glue stuff on them. Like he attempts to recontextualize some of them, but a lot he doesn't. Like the Instagram stuff, he would add a comment under the Instagram picture and then screen cap it.
I add a comment under pictures all the time. Where's my millions of dollars? What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about this week is Richard Prince, famous and successful art thief, who everyone apparently lets get away with this because he's wildly successful and he has art galleries and exhibits and so we all know about fair use, right? Like living in the internet content economy, we've all had to kind of become amateur fair use specialists. It's a kind of a little bit more complicated than we talk about it, but the short answer of this whole thing is that when you take somebody's copyrighted material, you have to transform it in some way that is significantly different enough where you can claim it's a new protected work and that you don't have to pay them for it. And there's certain categories, like if it's educational or if it's criticism, it's slightly more complicated, but that's the short thing. It's like Leon can use a clip from a movie, and since he's offering criticism of it, and it doesn't directly compete with the original work's market share, like he's not putting out Aladdin 7, this time it's personal. It's just like
that is actually that is actually a thing I have to talk to studios about, because when we have to have our back and forth, and one of the little things in the form that I have to write up, because that YouTube has set up for me to do to make it easier, is it asks, what effect will this have on the movie? And my answer is either nothing, because I have a very small YouTube channel, and also my video cannot be used as a replacement for watching the movie, because there's just not enough footage, there's not enough audio, and I'm talking over it. So it will have either no effect or a positive effect because more people will know about it. And that's usually what helps me.
Yeah, it's there's a whole 4-factor test, and there's it's even if you are doing criticism, it can't be a replacement. It's why Mystery Science Theater uses public domain works, is because theoretically, even if you are using it transformatively, you get the whole thing. Which is why Let's Plays were kind of a weird gray area for a while there, until I guess we all kind of just decided that it was okay. That's not supported by any court precedent that I'm aware of, but it seems like a thing we've all agreed upon. Anyway, Richard Prince, he steals a lot of artwork and he gets sued a lot. I just kind of wanted to talk about this with you guys. Do you think there's any merit? If you've Googled him, right, and I assume you went to the image page or his Wikipedia and stuff, you can see his work. It's I'm on the Google image search now. The first one,
his work.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like I'm getting a tone from Johnny. The first Google image search results is the Instagram exhibit, is the first one that
Yeah.
comes up for me. So
He just blew him up. He just blew him up and put him on walls. I'm sorry, but like you can do that at Kinko's. Like, look, I'm not one of those people who sees like a work of art and it's like it seems minimalist and say, I could do that. Or like for example, there's this famous painting and it's just the color blue, and a lot of people say, I could do that, but actually the painter like invented that color, so you literally couldn't have done that. He invented that shade of blue. And there's a lot of minimalist art or like strange art like that people just think that they could do it and they dismiss it that way. But this literally is something you can do at like a FedEx Kinko's. So I actually literally could do this. And that doesn't mean that it's worthless just because someone who is not much of an artist like myself could do it. But it is... work is in scare quotes.
yeah, the actual case we talked about wasn't the Instagram one. It was this one that I found if you Google Richard Prince photography. It's this picture of a man with a guitar, and he has taken a blue marker and colored in the eyes and mouth, and then he has cut a picture of a guitar out of a magazine and like put it over the man's arms to make it look like he's holding it. And the courts have said that was transformative. There was this book that he basically stole all of. And when he was sued, most of it was cleared through the court system. And I mean, I got from you, Johnny, that you just have no patience for this.
I do believe in transformative art. You know, I do believe in taking something that somebody else has made and then like actually creating kind of something new out of it. I do believe that original credit should be cited. So, like, you know, for example, if I was going to take a musical parallel here, that a remix is a different song than the original. It is, and it does require like somebody to actually get in there and make something new out of the pieces of what you had provided, to add new things, take things away, and just, you know, reshape it in a certain way. So I do believe in transformative art, absolutely. The question is, at what point in time does it become transformative art, and what point in time does it just become straight up theft?
It's funny that you should ask that, because there is a test, legally speaking. In the case that I'm talking about specifically, the Rastafarian pictures, that's the case of Cariou v. Prince, and that is linked on his Wikipedia page. There was 30 images that the original photographer sued for, and 25 of them were found to be, quote, transformative to a reasonable observer. So it's like of those 30 that he just stole, 25 he changed enough where someone looking at them would recognize it as a new piece of art.
Right.
So that's not dispositive. If something is transformative to a reasonable observer isn't the only test, but that was what came down in New York's court. Eventually they settled, which I don't think that was disclosed what they settled for, but it looked like the majority of it he was going to get away with.
Right.
I mean, you got, like, Leon, you make stuff online, so
I sure do.
like if someone uploaded your videos and like colored in the eyes in all of the
I can actually speak to this like very this it happens quite a bit. People upload just from front to back my entire video, and that's you're not, I'm not sure how you could transform my work into anything that much different, but people generally don't try.
I can do it.
You go ahead, Johnny. But basically, what happens is either this: someone either just uploads my video in its entirety, or someone uploads my video in its entirety and then adds words under it and says that makes it transformative. No, it's it's the same thing, but you put a little text under it. That's not enough. And
what if somebody slowed it down to like 1/15 the speed that it normally goes at?
You know why? Hold on. You know why that wouldn't make any difference? Because you can speed things up on YouTube.
I'm not done yet. And then added like backing instruments, like say a theremin track, and then also some percussion. and also like interjected some of your images with images of other similar but not the same movies.
I'd have to see it. But my biggest concern would be even if the video were completely different, like absolutely different, if it were still my entire narration the whole way through, that's really the show. So
Yeah.
What if your narration was also out of order?
I mean, at some point it becomes so completely distinct from what I actually did that it becomes someone else's work. If someone wants to completely chop up my episode and slow it down and also replace a lot of the audio and then make it out of order and all kinds of other things so that it cannot possibly be a replacement for watching my episode, then yeah, sure.
Right.
But I'm talking about sites that like, and it's always Russians for some reason. Sorry. I mean, I'm sorry, but it just is 90% of the time. It's a Russian YouTube channel who upload, and they upload my, video and just add words under it.
They just really appreciate
that-
your craft, and they just want to share it with non-English speakers.
Nope. Sorry. It's a replacement. Not good enough. It's too close. It's too close, and I say nope. And I usually ask first, but they never really reply. So I let me rephrase that. I used to ask first, and they never really replied. So now I just go through the YouTube form, or sometimes the Vimeo form, because some people will do that, or the Daily Motion form, because some people will do that, and I just deal with it. Look, like I said, obviously I believe in some level of fair use because it is critical to the thing that I do on the internet. But if it is a replacement for what I'm putting up there, then that's not enough. It would be like instead of making a video about the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, which is my latest episode, I just uploaded Superman 1, 2, 3, and 4 to my YouTube channel in their entirety. There's a difference between something that can be used as a replacement and something that can't. And that to me, that is the distinguishing feature.
I mean, that's true, and it is a relevant factor. Here's the thing that I besides the fact that I was just curious how mad you guys would get about this dude, the other reason I kind of wanted to talk about this was because, do you think, Leon, you could go to the store, buy a book of photography, and then just put those photos in an exhibit with, like, maybe like a tiny picture of your face in the corner or something, or just write in marker Renegade Cut on YouTube, subscribe please, or something?
No, I don't know if that's legal or illegal.
Turn
but I
your
would
notifications
say that,
on.
I would say that it's shitty.
It's definitely
but
shitty.
That's why there's a bibliography at the end of each video. I literally always give credit to all the research that comes from doing. It's not just there so that people, if they want to do further reading, can do it. They can, and then that's part of why it's there. But it's also to give proper credit. These episodes don't come out of nowhere. I don't just pull them out of air. I read a lot. Like I read an entire book before I did this episode, specifically about philosophy as it relates to Superman. It only helped a little because I already knew what I was going to say, but I'm glad that I read it anyway. Like it helped fine tune like one part.
Yeah,
but it was worth it.
I mean, you're talking about citing sources, which is definitely important. I guess what I'm really trying to get at here is if Richard Price, multimillionaire famous artist, can get away with it, do you think that Leon Thomas, a middle American film reviewer on YouTube, could do it? Because my suspicion is that your ability to steal other people's work and then write something on it in marker or cut a picture out and put it over top is probably proportional to the amount of money you have to spend on lawyers.
Well, what did I say before? Big shit always wins, Austin. I mean, that is the answer to all of your legal questions.
It is, because fair use is not a perfect defense. It is an affirmative defense, by which I mean that you have to basically say, yes, I did it, but here's why it doesn't matter. And the ability to argue that is not clear. It's not something where you can just be like, I have an alibi, so I didn't do the crime. It's basically an argumentative thing, and if the judge buys it or not, or the trier of fact, the jury, depending. at what stage you're at. So it's so inherently unequal, the ability to enforce these kind of doctrines. And it all goes back to, like I think I've said this before, there was an important fair use case. Sony tried to, they did release the Betamax, which allowed you to record stuff on the discs, right?
I think we talked about this.
Yeah, a little bit. So back then, all the people who made movies, was Universal was the other party. They're like, hey, this is just a piracy machine. You can't let Sony make a piracy machine. We're going to lose all our money. And the court said, well, you can do other stuff with it. So that's fine. And so Betamax was allowed to be released. And of course, it didn't destroy the movie industry. That thing still exists. But do you think that if you and Johnny and me, Leon, who just made the Betamax in our basement in the 80s, do you think a court would have let us release it? I bet Universal would have crushed us.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's sad. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
There isn't like a cool plot twist where I turn it around.
No,
That's it.
I mean, the only reason that I always win against Warner Brothers and Fox is because I'm not worth suing. So that's how that always works. I mentioned it before. Like, my battles with them is just me going back and forth until one of us gives up, and they always give up because they just don't care enough. I care more than they do about my tiny YouTube channel. It's not tiny anymore, but it's still small-ish. And that's how that works. But that's a whole other thing. But typically, yeah, your giant organization is going to have more sway than, say, a guy like me, because they just have more resources. And I'm not saying they bribe people, but they hire the lawyers that are better than everyone else's lawyer.
So, Austin, what you're trying to tell me is that the courts represent justice only as far as the systems that manage to create the image of that justice will allow. So in a capitalist society, it is capitalism that creates the image of justice that we all have to obey by, and the court will really only actually uphold that.
I'd say...
Is that what you're trying to tell me, Austin?
I mean, inequality is reflected all throughout a system, right? It's just like mirrors reflecting mirrors when it comes to our class-based society. But it's a lot thornier when you get to things that are arguable, right? So, like, if you did or didn't steal the thing, you can get away with, like, a less talented legal team if you can just, like, show the footage of you not stealing the thing.
Your Honor, this is a footage of me sitting at home on the Saturday night in question.
Yeah.
You'll see I look very sad and eat a whole bag of Cheetos because I'm alone.
But when it comes to things like, do we think this is fair? Do we think this is right? Is this good enough? That is basically just a money contest at a certain point. Like, I've said this before. There's this porn company who keeps suing Google. And frankly, their arguments are pretty good. But it's Google, you idiots. And now you have all these precedents which say Google can store all of our shit because they won against this porn company. And now it's on record saying Google is allowed to do this stuff. And the ways court precedent works is that it's kind of hard to overturn, and so that's more boring than it's worth getting into. But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about last week. It's kind of it affects us as content creators, but also it's just nice to get you all real mad and excited for the revolution.
Sure.
Okay.
But for now, it's just disappointment.
Oh,
damn.
So do you guys want to do questions?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let's see here. Jessica Sims asks, any movies or TV shows that terrified you as a child?
Yeah, The Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
And The Secret of NIMH.
Yeah?
Oh.
Like, when I was real young, yeah, there were certain segments in The Dark Crystal and The Secret of NIMH that just, like, gave me the heebie-jeebies.
For me,
real bad.
I remember having bad dreams about Jurassic Park after I first saw it. I think I was like 6 when that film came out. I'm younger than you guys. You guys are probably too old to be actually spooked by Jurassic Park, right?
No, I saw it in the theaters, and let's see, when did it come out?
93.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
was 13.
I was 11. then.
I was 3.
I know. You're a wee tot.
No, actually, I was 2.
Oh. Wait, why? You got to see Jurassic Park when you were 2?
No,
That's
I
actually
mean,
kinda
obviously, I
cool.
saw it later.
Oh. It's like, no wonder you were scared. You were 2.
Yeah.
You didn't even understand images then. Let alone dinosaurs. Okay, so you saw it later and it
A little
scared
bit
you.
later.
Okay.
I was like 6, I think, when I actually saw it.
Okay, well, that's understandable. There are some pretty scary scenes. The Velociraptors in the kitchen is pretty scary. Yeah, when I was a kid, the movie Poltergeist creeped me out pretty well. But that's rated PG, but that's like 80s PG,
Yeah.
which is different somehow. But yeah, like that.
Well,
clown
back
was
in
really,
the 80s, we didn't have PG-13 yet. I don't think,
Yeah.
did we?
Yeah, so it was like, well,
There was a big wide berth for parents to go. Yeah, I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, that clown in that movie scared the hell out of me. It's very scary. So I mean, I don't have any like I'm trying to think of something like that normally wouldn't scare people.
Yeah, that's the more interesting story. The other one I thought of was I saw Night of the Living Dead when I had a sleepover at my friend's house, and we weren't supposed to be watching it, I don't think. We were, once again, probably like 6 or 7. And if you watch that movie now, it's frankly kind of laughable, right? It's black and white. It's just people walking around with barely any makeup on, pretending to be zombies. But there's a scene where someone gets stabbed to death with a screwdriver in a basement, and it's like done in like really hokey silhouette. It's like not a good effect or anything, but I remember being spooked by that and like having bad dreams about that.
Oh. Movies or TV shows that scared me. I wouldn't say I was scared by the California raisins.
Okay, this is what they've been waiting for. This is the start.
but I was always like, I don't know, uncomfortable with them. Something about certain stop motion animation. Just like, it just seems so alien. The way it moves. I mean, not all of it. I wasn't like freaked out by the Isle of Misfit Toys or anything from Rudolph. But yeah, something about the California raisins. Maybe not scared, but sad. Yeah, the California raisins made me sad. I don't know why. There was just something very like unpleasant about their existence. Or something.
Yeah, they do beg existential questions that I'm uncomfortable with.
What does it mean to be a dried grape? Okay, so I hope that answers that question in a satisfactory way.
Next one.
Sure.
Lana Seawolf asks, this one might just be for me. What's the best part of a dinosaur? I have an answer for this, and it's the club tail of an ankylosaurus. It's very good. It's high quality dinosaur material.
Okay.
I don't know how much conversation we get out of this one. I just saw it, and I immediately had an answer, so I wanted to say it.
Okay. Mine is feathers. Fight me. That's it.
Is that still controversial? We've all accepted that into our hearts, right?
Yeah, I know, but people still don't like it, so I'm just being a jerk about it. For
It's
no
like
reason.
it's like Pluto. It's like, listen, we made a mistake and then we fixed it. It's fine. Why are you
Yeah.
invested in an idea of a thing that never existed? It's okay.
Right.
Like I'm kind of joking, but like actually the thing about Pluto kind of, it bothers me that it bothers people, which is a shitty way to live a life. But like it does represent something about our psychology, that we get attached to things that never affected us, never were real, and still continue to not affect us.
It's just suddenly our worldview and things that we have accepted have been challenged, and it's like, no, it's gotta be the old way.
I was told a thing once, and now I will fight to the death about it.
Yeah, people don't like change. I know that because when they started calling toilet paper bathroom tissue, I was like, that's dumb. And then the next time I saw bathroom tissue, a day later, I'm like, you know what, this is actually fine. It literally doesn't matter. Why did I care about this for one day? And that is the reason, because change that people don't understand the reason why, it confuses people. I do understand why. It just sounds better. It just sounds better, so people decide to market it that way. And after thinking about it for a moment, it makes sense.
That was like the most harrowing day of Leon's life.
I don't mean like I saw it and it just ruined my day, and that's all I thought about. I mean, I saw it, I was confused, and then the next time I saw it, I was like, this is okay.
So, I'm sorry this is how my brain works, but I was reading a thread on NeoGAF about flat Earth people. Don't live your life like me, kids, please. Please don't be like me. And apparently they think they're like an oppressed, persecuted minority now. And
well, they are a minority, but and they are because they're wrong.
But my thought is, like, if you actually feel persecuted because of these beliefs, why would you not, with every fiber of your being, strive to prove your position is correct, and in doing so become one of the most famous scientists in all of history?
There's a very simple reason, Austin. That's fucking impossible for them to do.
I know, but the incentive is so high to be the one person who cracks that nut. That someone should have done it by now. I'm sorry.
I imagine flat earthers have always existed, but the internet has helped flat Earth spread all over the globe. So that is
got him.
So that is what
burn,
that is
Leon.
about. Thank you. I know.
It's
next, I guess.
It's just the whole thing. I realize I'm part of the problem now, because if we all just ignore these people, they would. I don't know. Who knows? This one for Johnny. Okidokai asks, any good or easy recipes that I can make with my slow cooker? You did a immersion circulator question, and now we're on this slow cook grind. What's up?
Yeah, the slow cooker. The problem with the slow cooker is that it's basically just
Slow.
No, that's not the problem with it. The problem is that you put like all of your things into it and just kind of let it go. You know, like slow cookers are really great for long simmering stews or soups and things like that, like harvest soups, heavy squashed soups. Vegetables that really need to be broken down over like a series of hours, or flavors that really need to spend a lot of time mixing together in order to get something good out the end. You know, like they're very good for chilies. They're really good for, like I said, stews, or things that sort of like blur the line between a soup and a stew, like chowders and whatnot. The problem with the slow cooker recipes, I can't really do one off the cuff like I can with immersion circulators, because immersion circulators is just sort of like, season this, do it in there you go. But like, you know, I'm not going to tell you my favorite chili, which has like, you know, chop up some bacon, throw it inside, get some ground turkey and also some ground beef, you know, like, throw that in. You want to add ancho chili, chipotle, some dried chili flakes. Like it's a whole meal.
I think you actually did answer the question that you were going to answer, because you did a whole bunch of ingredients.
Maybe, but it's like, you know, the real benefit of having a slow cooker is not having to pay attention while it's cooking. So, like, instead of, you know, doing something in the oven and, like, you know, sauteing some vegetables, or like, you know, pan roasting or pan frying some potatoes or something like that. Like, you're not multitasking. Everything kind of goes in, and then you turn it on and you walk away, and then fucking like 8 hours later you come back and it's like, hey, it's dinner. But I really do like. I can't give you like full recipes, but I really do like harvest soups. I like hearty squash soups in autumn. Those are pretty banging. I also like, like creamy chowders, like potato chowders and corn chowders and things like that. But jazzing them up a little bit. Like there's nothing in this world There's a lot of things in this world that I hate more than bland slow cooker dishes, but they're pretty bad. So, you know, jazzing it up with like a little bit of pepper, a little bit of spice and things like that, just giving it something. Those are my favorite things, actually. I'm not really big into chili. Chili's not like not like super important to me. And if it is, it's got to be like fucking wacky chili, like with actual chipotle peppers and adobo sauce and shit like that.
I don't know if I can follow
stuff.
you down this road, Johnny, because chili is basically like hamburgers that you can drink, which is like two of my favorite things.
I just I just feel like there are more interesting things that you can do with ground beef. You know,
Okay.
like I like making meatballs, because meatballs you can dress with sauces and then you can do things with them. Do you want them on a sandwich with like marinara? Have I got you covered? How about we make it like Mexican style and make like bacon turkey meatballs or something like that, and then we can like chop them up and put them in fucking enchiladas, right? You know, like, yeah, I mean, there's the whole slew of Mexican dishes you can do with ground beef that are just, like, super flavorful and really festive, like with pickled cabbage and it just, like, you know, yeah, chili's just kind of like, I don't know, dump it in a pot, add some tomatoes, we'll come back later.
Delicious.
I mean, don't get me wrong, good fucking chili is fucking amazing. It's just that, you know, like, you gotta like work at good chili. Good chili is a tough job. No, I mean it really is. Like really good chili is hard business. It's not an easy thing to do, because finding all those ingredients that should go in there is a little bit more special.
I'll take your word for it. Next question. Cyretha asks, Austin, I saw an article about a troop of monkeys invading a Florida man's backyard. Are wild monkeys a common thing in Florida? So.
Oh boy, there's a story.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, is I don't think so, right? Because my understanding of apes and monkeys is there's old world apes and monkeys, which are not a concern, and new world apes and monkeys, which are like in Central and South America, like your Amazon and whatnot. My understanding is Florida is wild monkey free, but I am prepared to be wrong at any moment, because I have been attacked by all kinds of wildlife in my time that should just not be where it is at the time. I assume that this article that is referring to is like an escaped zoo animal, but my going concerns with Floridian animals are snakes, alligators, panthers, bears, spiders.
Have I got some interesting news for you, Austin?
Oh no! What? Yeah, what's happened?
The feral rhesus macaque monkey.
I like the way you pronounce macaque, but go on.
Has several colonies
Oh no!
in Florida.
They colonized Florida?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yep.
Okay.
A colony of rhesus macaque was established around Silver Springs in Florida around the spring of 1938.
Oh shit!
They are also in southern Florida. It says right here, they are thought to have gained freedom after zoo and wildlife park facilities were destroyed in hurricanes. And then there's some around Tampa Bay, apparently.
Yeah, I'm on the Wikipedia for feral rhesus macaque. They apparently warrant their own page.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there's a notable monkey colony in Florida that stems from these guys who got out of a zoo, which tracks with what I was saying earlier, but I didn't realize it was like such a concern. Yeah, like I've been to Tampa, but I've never lived there. Yeah, now I'm just reading about this. This is going to be the rest of my show.
Okay.
There are about 1,000 macaques that live in this state.
Oh.
They're definitely not from here, so that all checks out.
All right.
Jesus.
Well, that's racist, but all right.
Yeah, monkeys, go home. Make America great again.
Also, apparently, there's a notable colony in South Carolina.
Oh.
So yeah, I guess.
And apparently, they know their barbecue.
I feel like Johnny really does want to talk about the different kinds of barbecue sauce. Is that like kind of a backdoor pilot for our barbecue sauce conversation?
No, not really.
Okay.
I like South Carolina barbecue. It's a good thing. You should try it.
I've tried a bunch of different barbecue sauce, and they've all been phenomenal. I don't know which one's the best, but I understand it's a contentious thing.
I'm down. If we're talking pork, I'm down with the apple cider vinegar barbecue sauce. Down with that shit. So fucking good.
And there's one place that's just anti-sauce. I think it's Kansas.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Where they're just like, no, it's seasonings, not sauce. And it's like, I mean, chase your bliss. Sauce is good, though. Sorry, that like this kind of sounds like a joke, but it's an actual, real controversial thing. Here's a good question. JJ Hernandez says, best Disney princess?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're all right. First of all, they're all great.
I love the genuine joy in your voice.
I mean, see, for me, I want to say Ariel. And I know that's going to get some boos from some people because they don't like that Ariel basically gave up her life for a man. But here's the thing about that. She was ready to give up her life under the sea before she even met Prince Eric. Okay? I feel like that was sort of like, that sort of goes by the wayside in the debate about whether or not Ariel is a strong female character. Okay? She had like an entire treasure trove full of forks and shit that she loved the land a lot. Okay? So when she found like a guy, she was like, okay, this is an opportunity to go to the land, but that wasn't like, oh, I suddenly hate the sea. Okay, so let's be clear about that. I feel very strongly about this. But yeah, I really like Ariel a whole lot.
She did go get it, didn't she?
She did.
I mean like, because there are so many Disney princesses, like Snow White, who's like, oh damn, I got kicked out of my castle. Well, I guess I live here now. You know, like.
I admire her moxie quite a bit. So I mean that's a good one, certainly. I really like Rapunzel in Tangled a whole lot. But then again, I just like that movie a whole lot. So you know that's.
Is that the only Rapunzel movie Disney has made?
Yeah.
I feel like I can't believe it took them that long. Like
I sort of feel like there may have been a Goofy or a Donald Duck one, but I don't know if that one counts.
It's just
no.
weird.
I mean, there's.
It's like they've done all the classic stories, right? I guess I just, part of my brain assumed there was like a pre-existing Rapunzel film before Tangled. It just seemed like a weird thing that it took them so long. Anyway, sorry, tangent.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You know, Aurora has sort of had this like renaissance in the Disney Princess fan community, but it's mostly for memes. Where she's just bitchy, to all the other princesses.
Oh yeah,
she was one of the earliest ones.
She has that blank slate appeal, like a Commander Shepard or something. She's kind of whatever you want her to be, and if you can find a GIF where she does a certain like sassy thing, where you're like, yeah, work it, girl.
Yeah, not a big Snow White fan in the movie, but I do like Snow White on Once Upon a Time, so I feel like that evens out a bit. These are hard. I want to say Ariel. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel.
Yeah. So I think my favorite of the Disney film princesses is probably Jasmine, and that has a lot to do with just my love of that film. That's like my favorite Disney film, I'm pretty sure. It's, you know how it is. Sometimes you feel a little bit different from day to day. But she has a motherfucking tiger. Yeah. Which is just... It's basically the coolest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, I mean, if you're friends with Jasmine, you get to pet
it. Exactly. Also, shout out to the original source material of Cinderella, where she was like a much stone colder motherfucker than she is in the Disney version. I think she kills her stepsisters in most versions.
Yeah, and it sort of depends on which version you're reading, but yeah, there are levels to Cinderella.
It's easy to forget that the name just like literally means like Ash Girl. Like it's like she does not fuck around. Anyway, Johnny?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like,
Tiger.
So like a lot of the early ones kind of bugged me because they were just sort of like, oh, okay, I guess this is it. Nice, thanks. They just kind of take what comes their way, and everything works out for them. And I'm like, nah, shit doesn't happen like that. That's you gotta move, you gotta act, you gotta do shit, you know. Which is why I kind of like Ariel, Mulan, Rapunzel, even that Scottish one. I can't remember the name of the movie that Kelly MacDonald did.
Merida is the name of that character from Brave?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the movie was called Brave. It was a largely unmemorable movie. Like, it didn't really faze me at all. I was like, that was a thing I just watched. But, you know, the character at least was like, nah, you gotta get it. You gotta go. You gotta grab a thing and shake it. Unless it's a baby, don't shake the baby.
Wow.
But yeah, you know, so I like those. I like those kind of qualities. But then if it's like, you know, if we're doing the weird sort of like teen dream, like, which one would you want to date? I'd sort of be like, I think I'd like to date Belle. 'Cause she's smart. And
Well, she's an adult, whereas Ariel and Jasmine are teenagers and underage.
yes,
So,
that would weird me out.
Yeah, there's that.
But, you know, be like, she's strong but also sensitive. I think she could see the real me.
I think Belle would probably think she's too good for any of us. She's
Probably.
There's an elitist streak in that character.
She'd be like, I want fucking adventure in the Great Wide somewhere. And I'd be like, what? What's the matter? Chicken nugget night not good enough for you?
Also, just not furry enough, frankly.
Okay. I wanted to say I'm counting Mulan, even though she is not a princess. She is still part of the Disney Princess franchise line. So I'm saying Mulan counts, and she is great. And she definitely goes and gets it.
Yeah,
Okay.
from a branding perspective, she's a princess.
Then you know
branding.
what? Then we'll count that as my answer because we could fight, and that would be kick-ass.
Sure.
Yeah.
If
Be
that's
like,
important to you.
what did you and your lady do last night or whatever? I'd be like, we punched the shit out of each other.
Wow.
Sirens in the distance.
Yeah. This got weird. Oh no. Oh no. This was supposed to be so
Look,
nice.
No, I'm a martial artist. She
I know.
would be a martial artist. It would be we
Yeah.
could have a hobby together, and that would be fun.
And then you both
Plus
get mauled to death by the tiger. I win!
Yeah, plus Kung Fu is Chinese in origin, so that would be like a great opening to meet her.
Yeah. But then there'd probably be a weird conversation about cultural appropriation at some point in time, but I think I'd make a good case.
There would, and also, but Johnny, like, be real careful, because if you ever approach Mulan, this character that is, not, she's 2D. But if you ever do approach Mulan and say, hey, you're Chinese, I know Kung Fu, don't be surprised if she says, oh, so you just assume that I know Kung Fu because I'm Chinese?
Also,
Because
she
that
wouldn't
would be...
answer you in English.
Yeah, there's also that.
Guys, I think we're getting way too deep in this rabbit hole here.
Oh, are we? I'm sorry. It's a shame.
I'm glad we all just agreed that Pocahontas is lame.
Yeah.
Look,
But also,
I mean,
hey, Austin, wait a second. If we're talking the Disney princess and not the historical figure, yeah, she would speak English, because the movie was in English.
Yeah, all kinds
Oh, my.
of... We have to make concessions to the premise of this question. I just think, they should try to do Pocahontas again and focus on making it good this time. Try...
I think that would be really hard, because guess what? It's not a good story.
Also, I mean, they didn't really do the story, the
That's-
actual events.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
That's not a Disney moment.
All right, so I have a question here that we definitely can answer, and that's why it's funny enough to ask. Fourth Man wants to know: Can you three make a tutorial video on how to make a successful podcast?
what?
What makes you think we're qualified for that?
What are you talking about? First of all, this is barely a podcast.
Barely.
I mean, it is in that it counts, like, in the dictionary definition of it, but it also, like, podcasts, there's, like, a premise to most podcasts. So I don't know. I don't know
I
if
suppose
this works.
our inability, if we basically wrote down all the things that we did and then did the other thing, gentlemen, maybe we might have a podcast.
Maybe if nothing counts as something, then we do have a premise.
It's like Seinfeld of podcasts.
Okay. Okay. So, how to make a podcast?
Don't.
Find people. Yeah.
We don't need that competition.
The market is saturated. I mean, that's the real answer. Don't. I mean, I never mind.
So
Look.
the joke was just to give us an opportunity to dunk on ourselves, but for real though, just like to drop the jokey jokes for a second there. Do people actually think of us as like a successful podcast? Because like we don't do ads, like we don't have the numbers to do that kind of stuff. Like I don't know what your bar for success is. Like my personal one is just that like I bring joy to people, and in that sense we are a success, and I don't take that lightly. But like financially, no. Like not.
Wordfunk is part of my YouTube channel, but not part of my Patreon for a reason. I couldn't really ask people to pay for this. That's the first thing. The other thing I'll say about my YouTube channel as it relates to Wordfunk, there are about 31,000 subscribers to my YouTube channel right now, which is not a lot, but it's fine. About less than 2,000 of them actually listen to Wordfunk. So to just give you some idea of viewership retention or something, this is just a thing that we do. That does not actually make any of us money.
Isn't that conversion rate, the subscribers to viewers?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm saying words wrong.
It's all good. No, it's just that. So I've actually been thinking about this a little bit earlier today because there's a thread in the forums right now about who could DM future seasons of Dice Funk. And while me as a player, I would really be interested in that because I like being a player and I like hearing other people's ideas. Now that it's become part of my income, I'm hesitant to put that on somebody else, that responsibility, because like if someone gets like halfway through their DMing season and then has to drop out, or they die, or they suddenly decide they hate me or something, then like I lose my income and then I'm homeless and starve to death. So like once it becomes a money thing, you have to take it more seriously, and that kind of puts strains on this. Like the Wordfunk is relatively low pressure because none of us need it.
Yeah.
I don't. The thing here is, I think that they may be mistaking longevity with success, because
we've done a lot of these.
We have, like, ostensibly we've been podcasting for years together. We absolutely have, but it's taken more the form of every week, let's throw something at the internet and see what sticks.
And I mean, we do bring joy to 1,000 to 2,000 people a week, and that's not nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that people keep coming back and listening, but obviously, like, we don't have a formula, we don't have a format, we don't have, like, there's no rough skeleton, we don't draft, like, what next week's show is going to be about.
Oh, God, we barely show up on time. Yeah. I'm looking at my analytics for Dice Funk just through Podbean right now, and it has about 150,000 downloads through that. I don't know if that counts iTunes, and then you put Patreon on top of that, and then maybe YouTube. It's like that I would consider a success. Like that, I think Dice Funk is a success, but that's also a thing I spend like 15 hours a week working on, and this is like an hour and a half. So
and you have a premise,
That's true.
And
there's
like,
a story.
There's a goal. There's a point.
Yeah, I like to think so. But
I just kind of like Wordfunk. I like hanging out with my two buddies, and we like making people laugh.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess this joke question turned into like, what do you think success is, and what would you be comfortable with? If you're okay with just entertaining a small amount of people, then like just don't worry about doing the right thing, just do your thing. If you actually want to be successful, then maybe find like trending Twitter topics and make like hot scoop podcasts or something, and then just try to get it in touch with an ad network and then leech off them or something. That's like the actual answer to this question, unfortunately.
If you if you want views and hits and things like that, then there's a ridiculous amount of information out there available for you to like look at and maximize. Like, why do you think that when you just browse through the what's hot on YouTube channel or whatever it is, or suggestions for you, like most of them look the same? That's because like these people have all done the reading.
It's all like close-ups on screaming faces.
They all know that. You know, they all know that. But yeah, Austin's absolutely right. If you just want to entertain people, do your thing. And you know what? Like, if you're lucky, your thing becomes a good thing.
Yeah, and also
no guarantee.
like to both like maintain creative freedom and have success, that's like the unicorn of this whole thing. You kind of have to be ahead of the curve. You have to like luck into doing the thing as it gets popular. If it's already popular, you've missed it, right?
Yeah.
Like I guess that's kind of obvious in hindsight now that I've said that out loud, but it's like something you have to be comfortable with, is the idea that you're going to probably not have success, and you're going to have to work at it for, what have you been doing this for, 7 years, and not be making any money. And that's okay. That's life.
Yeah.
So let's all just be thankful just for what we have.
Sure. Well,
Thanks.
I was taking a moment there to just really internalize that.
And I was ruining it, because that's my brand.
Yeah. Everyone loves your brand, Johnny. In that forum thread, everyone's like, who could do future DMs? Everyone's like, Johnny, bring back Johnny. I love his flavor text. Give me that flavor. Everyone loves it.
Put the pressure on, please, people. Nah, Austin's got this. Austin's got this on lockdown. He's in control. I'm a fan.
Now I'm just thinking about the Killer Mike song, Put the Pressure On, which is calls out Hillary Clinton by name like 10 years ago. And in hindsight, gives me a lot of interesting feelings about liberalism. Anyway, we did a podcast. I said no more politics, and then I immediately destroyed it.
It's okay.
It's all right. I forgive you.
You should listen to Killer Mike, though. Leon, you usually close out this thing. That's how you do it.
Do I?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. What I usually do to close it is literally just ask you guys if there's anything else you want to say before we go, which is in a way not me closing it out.
I had a nosebleed while we were talking about Voltron.
Oh, are you okay?
I think so.
Were you thinking about your ship?
Nah.
What?
Not even, not even. It was just weird. I was just sitting here patiently listening, just about to tell my story about how I was really lucky about season 2 of Voltron, because I started watching the first season, and then one day I turned on Netflix. It was like, new episodes. I was like, all right, let's do this. And then I had to cough, so I muted my mic, and then I coughed, and there was blood, and I was like, oh no, the consumption's finally come back. But then blood started oozing from some other holes as well.
No.
And what happened?
I just had a nosebleed. I don't know why, man.
All right. I mean, they don't happen for nothing. I was just concerned about your nose.
I don't know. Maybe it's a summer nosebleed. I don't know. Is that a thing?
Is that like the summer sausage? It's like sweeter?
Summer. Time to put on your short shorts and your halter tops and bleed profusely from your face.